You are not getting hot enough. Hey Greg, hey Station. How's the weather down there, Station 240? You guys cooking or you getting any rain? Because we actually got a bit of a reprieve today. We haven't had any rain, but at least it's not turning us into roast beef. Oh man, I'm going to lose all these little fellas here. Applying patches to Windows regarding the meltdown. 42. Oh, Station. That's dreadful. They patch us for that Intel page swap kernel information leakage issue. I see that if it is that one, I see they've managed to optimize it pretty good so that it barely makes any impact at all now. Which is pretty much what I was expecting. So maybe there's about a 2 or 3% penalty. I'd say for most people, most consumers, it's not going to make any difference anyway. Most people are not going to bother. Unless, of course, Microsoft applies it without giving people a chance. Be interesting to see how easy or hard it is to disable that patch on Linux. Alright. Oh man, that is some ugly. And there's damage up here too. This is a 5S that I've had for just sitting around for quite a while. I never bothered to do anything with it. I haven't even taken the shields off this one. It came in, I could see all this water damage, and I just sort of said to the person, I said, get the data off, walk away from it. Because they had a bad run of luck, so I thought, look, you're just going to throw good money away on this. Okay, so it's fair number of updates all around. I'm not even sure what kind of liquid damage this was. I think it was bore water, which of course is really not good. It'd be interesting to see if many people's machines crash and burn because of the updates for whatever reasons. Patches don't always apply well. So we're on the verge of losing that pad there. And that one's a veer going down. It's really quiet. What, is everyone on holiday or something? That looks like it might be marginally important. Just loading up the Easy Draw software. You can see where this pad goes to, what the heck it's even for. I say the nice thing about running this easy draw software under Wine is you can see all the web requests it's making without any trouble at all. It's iPhone 5S. Now, which one are you? I don't even know which particular board this one is. Oh well, it doesn't matter, we'll just pick the first one. TCRS, yeah, you're first around about half an hour ago. Hey Aaron. So this is... Where do you go to? Alright, so you go from there to these two. Well, we'll see if we can build up a little bit of a nub on that pad. Not even sure what that's for. Hey 7X, been a while since I've seen you. Yeah, you been going. So what are you? What are you? Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Oh, you had the crest running. Okay, let's see. So it should be the junction of the two down by under the shield where I can't see. Yay! Where is it? It's the pad. This is obviously a different revision board to the one I'm looking at. Trying to look at something else. More like update everything else so you can yeah. Looks like I was looking at the wrong board. Apparently the one I've got here is in fact 3292A. Let's try again. Where do you go? Oh joy, you don't show up. Where? What? Crap. It's under the... I cannot seem to see where it tells me what the what rail I'm on. Tells me what else is on there. The software still needs some work. It's certainly not as fast as ZXW, but half of that's probably going to be because of the fact that I'm using doing it through Wine in the first place. I guess I'll just look at the part on the schematic. And this is L69RF. Okay, schematic time. And naturally I can't find my schematic. L69 IF. That's moderately important. It's a main power rail, and it's going to take power into that chip, so we are going to need that. Blast. Is Easy Draw any better than ZXW? Aaron, it's subjective. In some ways it's better because of the fact that I can, it runs on the wine, it doesn't require a dongle, it's cheaper. But on the downside, it's still a bit primitive, you might say, yeah. Okay, I'm actually going to put some solder paste down in that hole. Come on. And hopefully the solder paste. I think it's more than enough solder paste. $35 on time because it was stuck running. So you've now got to have an external timer. That's a bit suckful. I mean, the amount of money you pay for a crest, you'd expect it to be a little better than that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the dongle system. I mean, really, it's like, that's so 1980s, 1990s maybe. I'm not worried about these balls going into, and not a single one of those went into the pit. Come on, go into the pit, guys. Into the pit. God damn it. I have a feeling that's definitely not going to make contact. Oh look, we squeezed a ball out from in there. That's alright. I was expecting I would have to do this whole section. I guess it just sort of forced me. And it's probably at this time I'll find out it's got some weird ball arrangement that I can't just swap out, redo with the stencil. Because, you know, that's how this week would go nicely for me. Just, yeah. So someone forgot to turn the temperature down. Just knock everything around. Why not? Now the reason why this week's been, other than the fact that customers have not been turning up, they've not been paying, changing their minds. Like I had a couple that sort of, oh man, what the hell, Paul? You're just completely fucking it up. Well, nice job, Paul. Nice job. Just scratch the hell out of that board. A couple of days after Christmas, I think it was 2 days after Christmas or something like that, I had to, the weather's pretty damn hot out here, and I went out to my pond, and the water was pretty low and the pump had stopped working properly. So I thought, yeah, no worries, I'll just do the clean up and top it up and all that. Now, the water is pretty damn hot because it gets hit with 40 odd degrees during the day, and I pity the poor bastard fish that live in there. They're great in winter, but they really don't lose that piece. Yeah, so the water's pretty hot. It's a bit stagnant. it's overall not good quality water. And I'm cleaning the pump out, and I lost, where'd that piece go? Come on, tell me I didn't lose that piece. You didn't lose the piece, Paul. There it is there. Well, remember it's down there. So I'm cleaning the pump out, and it wouldn't go back together properly, so I just give it a bit more force, and then bam, it spits all of its water out into my face. And some of it gets right into my eye, like right into the tear duct area. And I thought, crikey, that's no good. But then it recurs to me, it's like, hang on. So the water is really stinking hot. So I'm living in an area that is known for brain-eating amoeba. And they love it when the water is really hot, pond water, and it gets into places like your optical cavity or your sinuses. So for the last 10 days I've been pretty much freaking out, because if you get this, if you get the brain-eating amoeba in your body, then there's basically 95% chance, 95% of the time it's fatal. And so, and with my sort of anxiety issues, it doesn't help, because the usual things that you get with the brain-eating amoeba, oh crap, I lost that, oh well. You get headaches, you get wobbly sort of sensation, all that sort of stuff, which funnily enough coincides with the sort of stuff you suffer when you have anxiety issues. So yeah, it's been a great big frickin'... Why are you melted? I'm only at... not even at melting temperature. So yeah, and the incubation period is anything between 1 day and 9 days. So it's a really long window. And so today is the 9th day and I'm still here and alive, so I'm pretty sure I'm safe now. But yeah, that was pretty brutal. As soon as it happened, I ran into the bathroom and I start pouring salt water into my eye. I even put iodine in there just to try and kill it out, flushing it out. Yeah, so I've been freaking out the last few days. And then on that, top of that, all the customers aren't even turning up and paying. So yeah, great Christmas break. But we have a number of people who have died from that around here. Unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, all lives are the same. But some young kid died from it last year. So yeah, it's not something to be trifled with. It's definitely a very real risk, because no one really takes notice of it until it actually happens to them. So maybe I got lucky. Maybe the washing my eyeball out with salt water and iodine helped. I gotta tell you, that stung like hell, but yeah, it was gonna sting less than my brain melting. So yeah, so I'm not a fan of that, and it wouldn't have been so bad if it happened in winter, because this particular amoeba tends only to come about in the summer when the water gets up to a certain temperature and the little pods that it lives in just sort of break open, or they emerge from their little capsules or whatever. So it's a bit of a high temperature lover. As soon as it happened, I was like, oh no, man, no. Man, I am making a complete... these tweezers are nice, but they're a little bit loose. Sloppy, I should say. Oh, seriously, Aaron, you've had a few over in Kansas City area. Okay. Yeah, it's not good. Like I said, it's not something that people are generally aware of until too late. Most people tend to just sort of disregard it and think it's bit of flu or cold or something like that. Not that there's a lot you can really do, because once again it gets into your brain. You really have no defense against that sort of stuff. And because the amoeba isn't really intending to go in there, it just, sort of gets in there. I think it's something like 8,000 people a year or something, around about that figure, suffer it. So. Meanwhile, the residents of this town are freaking out because we've got fruit bats and all sorts of other bats in plague proportions. And it stinks really bad, and obviously people are worried about a thing called the Lissa virus. The Lissa virus is quite similar to rabies in the way it behaves, and it's, funnily enough, is another brain melter. And even more funny is that I've had to go through the whole inoculation process of the Lissa virus in the past, because when I first got back here from Africa, I didn't realise that the Australian bats were now known carriers for it. And I was out in the bush, and there was a bat that got caught up in a barbed wire fence. And in the past I used to rear bats. We used to get abandoned babies and things like that, and we would raise them up so they could go off and fly on their own again. So I just sort of got this fellow and got him off the barbed wire. And I get home, and that's when my folks told me that there's now this thing called the Lissa virus in Australia, and it's potentially could have just contracted it. So I had to go in and get a whole bunch of injections. That was a bunch of fun over about 6-7 weeks, I think it was. Just going in every other couple of days and get a nice jab. Hilarious stuff. So it's probably 2 main times that I've managed to dodge having my brain melt. Brain matter through the nose is just a joke. I think it's probably just a little bit over the top, that one, but certainly you will get fluid probably coming out when it's really bad. But I wouldn't say it's brain matter. I don't think it degenerates like that. If you're at the point where you've got brain matter coming out of your nose, you're probably not even aware of it anyway. I'm not exactly sure of how that sequence goes down. Okay, what did I do with that chip? I'm too busy talking about brain matter that I don't know what I did with that chip. Is that it there? That's it there. Well, it doesn't look like an overly... actually, come to think of it, no, that is a bit of an overly painful chip to work with. It's got its blimmin' underfill. Ugh. The hardest thing about them when this size is just trying to stop them bouncing around all over the place. And of course, well, now that that's over, I've got to get back to worrying about normal things, which is like customers not paying my bills. Hey, Nate's Tech Services. Usually streaming while I'm sleeping. Yep. Yeah, I thought I'd change it up a bit. Hey, Jacob. And Platypus Nibbles. I haven't seen you before, Platypus. Looks like someone's got their motorcycle going. Nine-year-old in 2014. Aaron, is that for the amoeba thing? I think the victim last year was some 2-year-old or maybe even 18-month-old. So it was sort of, it inspired a lot of fear in parents, understandably. In their case, what the problem was is they lived out in the sort of in the bush area, and they were drawing from bore water. And I think the bore just obviously was a good environment for the amoeba. Jeez, this stuff is tough. So I can't really push too much. I need 3 hands here, really. One to hold the hot air, one to hold the chip, and one, here we go, finally breaking it up. This could all be for naught, I really don't care. At this point, my week has just been... Well, I suppose I should be happy because I'm not dead. That's always a positive thing for other people. I mean, if it was myself, I wouldn't know because I'd be dead. I'm not really a fan of the Christmas time. Oh, crud. Where did you go? Where did you go? Unfortunately, I don't have my fume extractor on, so I think I found it. Yep, found it. Naegleria fowleri, that's it, yep. It's just one of those one of those things that, like I said, you don't think about, and then when you get it, and because you sort of think, oh, it's just an amoeba, I mean, what's it going to do? But yeah, once it gets into your head, it starts eating, I think it's your synaptic ends or something like that, I can't quite remember. It's not I should say, it's not its intent to chase brains, it's just that it misbehaves when it's in a brain. I don't know where I got the statistics of 8,000 or something like that. Nate, we're just trying to fix up a bit of water damage on an iPhone 5S board. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, Nate. It's just... I'm cleaning what I can see. I'm being the janitor today. This is the underfill chip up on the board stalk up near the Wi-Fi area. I got my iPhone 5C PMIC chip today. Thank you to Lee over in Australia. But unfortunately, even after replacing that, I've still got the same results again, so that's a bit of a bummer. And I managed to finally fix up the 15-inch HP with the touchscreen that I did the other night. That was a bit of a nightmare, actually. I could have stopped saying actually. Yeah, that was a bit of a nightmare. I think the hardest thing with that is because I can only get the glass, I can't get it in a bezel already, plastic bezel pre-assembled. And because the tape that you use, it's like 1.5 mil or something like that thick. And I think I was using 5 mil wide, double-sided foam adhesive tape. And that stuff sticks crazy, and you've got no working room with it. It's just, you touch it, it's bonded, end of story. So last night I'm trying to do it, trying not to get dust on everything. And yeah, sure enough, I peeled off all the double-sided tape, and as you can expect, I touched it in the wrong place, and I had to basically rip up most of the work I did. But I found a way around it this morning. What I ended up doing, damn it, these twizzlers. What I ended up doing was I left the protective tape on the tape, like, you know, the plastic that doesn't stick to it. And then I laid the glass down on the bezel on that tape, but obviously because it had the plastic cover on it, wasn't sticking. And once I got it lined up how I wanted, then I used the tweezers and just pulled off that protective layer. And then when I pulled that out, it bonded and it was in place. So I don't know why I didn't think of that the first time, but yeah. Damn, man, these balls are almost perfect, and except for that one. Kind of tempted to just put another ball on there, but that'll be a leaded ball, and those are lead-free balls. So get a bit of a... Geez, I hope I didn't damage the... What do you guys reckon? Is that damaged, or is it... I mean, it's scratched, but is it unacceptably scratched? Can't really tell. Tiny vacuum table hold these ICs down. Something like that would be good. Yeah, it's real tempting to just build up a ball on that. It looks like we do have a bit of a clean. I haven't even taken off the main shields on this phone yet. Oh, crikey. Come on, man. Don't be like that. I suspect I probably should replace those 3 on the side there. They look quite gnarly. Tape over LCD heat table with Captain Tape. Leave one hole exposed. Well, that's actually the other way you could probably do it, is just put a piece of Captain Tape down. You kind of want double-sided tape or something, and then you want it to be able to handle the heat. Not asking much, are we? I have my doubts about finding anything that will match that pitch. So I may have... So what was I saying before? How it wouldn't have something that would match that up? Seems like my wishes have come true again. Yeah, what's behind door number 2? Exactly. Just gonna make a comparison on the... See if anything comes close. If nothing comes close, then I'm either gonna have to I don't know what I'm gonna do if I can't find anything that comes close. Oh yeah, that's a perfect match. And I'll just have 6 spurless balls in the middle. I mean, can't complain about that. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go for that. Except there's a chip out the side. Oh, that's probably ruined it. I think we'll pass on that. Alright, I'm going to throw that one away. It's got a chip. There's a chip in the chip. LCD separator table. Oh, right. Okay, now I'm starting to get with you. This is just awful. I should probably just windscreen wipe that. Take the whole lot out. That. So we had a pad come up there. That one there. I'm guessing that's probably going to be an NC pad. It came up way too easy. And I didn't see any trace come up with it. Let's go see if that is indeed an NC pad. Seriously? According to this, they're all NCs. Now that I wouldn't have believed in a hurry. I guess that the software says it is, so it must be. Let's give it a wash and see what happens. Might show up. It'd be funny if... no, I don't think it was the pad that was missing the ball. I think that actually was a functional pad. Oh, what do you know? They are NCs. Who'd have thought? Anyway, like I said, it's got a chip in the side of it, so I'm not too sure I trust it. Alright, what else? We've still got this issue here to deal with. Let's get some heat. Clean up around the board. Excuse me. Bit of lunch coming back. Yeah, don't let that pad fool you. That's not intact. I wish it was, but I sincerely doubt that being intact. I'm only doing it. I'm only at 220 here. Ah, that's still enough to burn the tip of my thumb. Okay. Yep. Classic white spot on my thumb now. Alright. So I guess I should really pull off those shields and see what's going on underneath before I do anything else. A bit foolish otherwise. I mean, yeah, is there much point spending a bunch of time on that? I'll tell you, this board is hot. And yeah, this is genuine new from eBay. Yeah, definitely genuine new. Nice thing is, if I can get this to work well enough, I know the person well enough that I can get them to. I need to change this. I can get them to remove the iCloud lock. So I'd probably use this as a what do you call it? A loaner phone. Just to give to some people who maybe they absolutely need to keep working, need a phone, but their phone needs to stay in here for work servicing. Paul, you're never going to get that off at 220. I can only hope in about a year or two I will have done enough YouTube videos, developed the part of my brain that's needed so that I can concurrently talk, walk, chew gum, and not choke and die. Because when I go over my old videos, when I look at what's happened in them, there's always something that I've done wrong, or slipped up with, or forgotten to do the sequence right. Even though I know well enough what I should be doing, it's just something, when you start talking, you start making mistakes, or at least I do. Some people seem to be able to do it really well. Yeah, they just have that capability in their brain, they're wired that way, or they've got the practice. Oh, 2 for 1. That was good. Slightly warm. I need the sticker off before I try to take that shield off. I was going to say, you should have dropped off by now. So you want to see the video of Lewis from 2012 last night? Or a few hours ago, whenever it was that he posted it up? It's like an amazing difference from 2012 to now. So it gives me hope. Alright, let's have a look. There's our sticker, of course. Looks like we might have some... Is there anything under there? Maybe the ultrasonic can clear that up. It'd be also interesting to see if this board has had any rework done on it, since it is, you know, a genuine new eBay rebirth. No, that looks, at least initially, looks fairly clean. Tell you what I do wish for 2018 is more MacBook stuff. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, we got trouble here. This is the Sage, so this will be the touch controller. You can see all the junk going on down here, that cap there. So probably we've got more junk building up here, more here. I mean, it doesn't look severe. The ultrasonic might clear that up. PMIC at least looks clean. Great. Man, yeah. It's under the RF stuff. That's quite a pretty looking one. Yeah, Platypus, you're right about the sim there. It'd be interesting to see what they do in terms of getting rid of the sim overall. I know they're certainly wanting to try get rid of it, because as you said, it is one of the largest parts on the board. I would say, yeah, I'm not keen on this board anymore. No, look at that. And it's all down here too. I'd say most likely, and under there, this is the sort of board. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I wonder how much of that corrosion and junk originally was there when the phone was refurbished, and how much is from... So like this, all this down here, that doesn't match what the phone came in for originally, or to me. Because when it came into me, this is the area that was legitimately wet. Still, it's not to say it wasn't. Let's have a look. Then again, maybe... No, actually there's watermarks on the bottom here. I can see them now. See like... There, that's it there. So, yeah, I'd say... No point putting any time into this. This one's going to be a parts donor. I'm sorry. We'll just leave it as a parts donor. It's not worth fixing that up. Cords changed, headphones jacks disappeared. Yeah. Okay. The only thing I need to do is make a note of the serial number, put it into my database, so that if I ever happen across this board again, I'm like, who owned this board or where did it come from? Oh no. Speaking of which, if you change the SIM tray, is there anywhere else on the board that you can get a unique ID other than powering it up? There we go. We can actually sort of see there it is indeed the A board. I'm surprised they don't etch the, or maybe they do. Let's see if we can find. Is the unique ID on the CPU itself? What's this? Or are these just numbers unique to the manufacturing of the CPU? Because what happens if you take the SIM tray off? Okay. Noisy traffic. Break a screen, lose a little. What? 7 has it on the SIM tray. Oh, great. So that's like the 4 and the 4S then. Back to the old way. Brilliant. Okay. Well, I'm going to stick this back in its bag with the other little losers. There. We've got another one here that I'll have a look at. It's also water damaged. Funnily enough, from the same people. Let's see what's going on with this one. I did something bad today too. It was by accident. I wasn't thinking. Made an assumption, and the assumption bit me in the posterior. But from what I can gather, I was fixing up the camera connector, and I wasn't watching things carefully. I was being slack, and I caused this chip here to lift. Just because of the underfill or overfill, and this one as well, and worst of all, this one. And it's this one here that bit me in the backside. That, I believe, is the EEPROM. That's U6. And when I took the cap off and all that of the overfill, I looked and I thought, oh, that's probably just a MOSFET or a switcher or something trivial that I can replace. No, wrong. It's the EEPROM for the baseband as far as I know, which means that phone is now dead. Oh look, we've got a nice hole here. You're corroded. I don't know why I bother with these. I think I need to get a little harsher with what I do and simply go, okay, you're wood damage, that's it, you're a donor. Even if you boot and everything like that, you're a donor. I have a feeling it's just going to bite me in the backside more in the future. It's a shame. Sometimes it doesn't seem like a lot of damage on these boards. I guess you only need one ball to go wrong. Can't believe they put it back to putting it on the SIM tray. That's just nuts. What about on the 8 and the X, 10, whatever you want to call it? Come on, sit in. Oh look, this has still got its original TriStar. How shocking. Well, if it's still got the original TriStar, it means no one has ever tried to service this. Because whenever you change, first thing you do on all board repairs, replace TriStar. Please, if anyone is listening to me say that, I'm not being serious. I'm being facetious. I suppose this is moderately, has a moderate chance of being a candidate. Here we go, I'm already going back on what I said before. It's one thing to try and fix them up, clean them up. It's another thing to use them though. Okay, so what are you for? Compass is probably gone. Let's see. Second row up. Okay. L39. So it's something on the compass line. And the winner is yeah, that that brings 1v8. Is that, do I get the right one there? Second in. Yeah. Yeah, that brings the 1.8 volts into the compass. So I suppose technically the phone would still work, no problem with that. Just wouldn't have a compass, but then most of the time a lot of people remove the compass anyway, because it's always something that dies. And the next one is right up the top. What do we got? R51RF. Something to do with LT, coax, TX, YLAN, coax, RX. Not really sure what they're for. Obviously something to do with comms. And that's all part of the big Wi-Fi module. Well, I'll probably leave, yeah. Let's make this a donor so that I don't regret it later. Here you go, donor. On the upside, I've got a nice, oh no, that's right, this case is stuffed too. Sure you guys have all seen this sort of thing, where people bend it, and then they bend it back, but then they cause this sort of crushing on the up-down buttons. So you just throw it away. Alright, so we've got two more iPhone 5S parts boards. I'm going to need to get some people sending me stuff that is actually fixable. Data recovery is my preference. Let's see, where's my 5S boards? Oh. My room's turned into a mess again, as usual. There we go, 5S. I just need to set up more storage space. Okay, that's good. Alright. So that. And that pretty much leaves me with nothing else to do at the moment. I don't even have any laptops to work on other than I've got a couple of get the data off type laptops. Ancient old things that probably should have been sent down to the dump a decade ago. So I guess we'll leave it at that. There's 2 long screw damage, 5S's I'm dragging your feet on. Already I haven't even had a long screw damage turn up here yet. There was one last year and I offered to the person to bring it around just to have a look at it, and they said they were going to turn up, but never did. Nate's Tech Service, where do you get the boards you have? Nate, they're all... Sorry, I was just looking at something out the window. They're all just boards that people have bought in that they're either been too damaged or water damaged. A long time ago I stopped telling people that we could put water damaged phones back into service, as it were. So typically typically they sort of just end up going, well, is there anything I can do with it? And I'm like, well, no, there's not. And they go, well, here you go, if you can use it for parts, you have it. So I guess I sort of collect them up. I have a surprisingly more boards than I would expect. So I was going through them more today. Now these are, what are these ones? So these are iPhone 4S's. There's a fair number of those. iPhone 4s. That's right. I do have one good iPhone 6. I need to put that. That needs to become my donor, not donor, my, what do you call it, loaner phone. And more 6s. What I don't have at the moment are very many 6S's or 6 Pluses. Or 6S Plus for that matter. So I've got 5Cs, 5S, 6s, 4S. But that's about it. So, but yeah, I need to put this one into work. Just means I have to get a new casing and I've got plenty of screens at least. So, yeah, it's a nice collection, and I have been picking parts off them as I need them. But like I said, it's early days yet. I only just put up my mail-in service on my web server, my web page rather. And I'm looking at my website and I'm thinking, I'm not happy with it anymore. So I'm probably going to, while it's quiet and while people aren't turning up, I'll just go in and start reworking it in a way. And I'll probably do a couple of revisions and eventually I'll come up with something that I consider to be tolerable. And that will probably stay that way for the next 5 years after that. So... Cormac, good morning. I was just heading off too. Bad timing. Should have woken up earlier. So but yeah, so I think I'll just work on the website. I don't really... It's always difficult around Christmas. For a lot of people it's a very joyous, busy time. For myself out here and my wife, it starts out being pretty good, but then the week after in the new year, you're really scratching to try and make it through, make the ends meet. We've obviously got savings and things like that, but the terms of the paying the weekly bills and whatnot without falling back onto savings, it is always difficult. It always has been for the last 5 or 6 years. You just sort of got to ride through it, and things don't really pick up until around about February. Highly recommend Davey Muse if you want to do something pretty slick and easy. Well, I guess the problem with those sort of tools is that they have a lot of dependencies that they pull in. Unless it's going to dump pretty much raw HTML for me, then yeah. I'm not really after anything slick. I just want it to be minimalistic and do the job. It's not my first website. I've been previously doing websites for, oh crikey, it's over 21 years now. That's scary actually. But I don't do fancy websites. I just do pragmatic websites. But even that, when I look at my current CTPC one, the business page, I'm just like, no, it just isn't feeling right ever since I put the mail-in order system on it. And people start getting tax money around here. Yeah, here in Australia, people get their tax money around about July, August, and they typically have spent that by August. Uh, it's financially, it's just a death. It's a desert at this time of the year because everybody is overspent on Christmas, drank themselves broke, just all sorts of things, and a lot of the projects, like out here at the mining and things like that, a lot of things don't get started until a bit further on in the year. So, yeah, so it's a case of you just got to prepare for it and grind through. So start of HTML, the Netscape Navigator. Oh man, I remember Netscape Navigator's built-in suite. Front page, front page. Man, the number of times I'd have to fix up stuff generated by front page. At least these days we don't have the issues with compatibility so much anymore. I mean, you remember what it was like when we had to deal with Internet Explorer 4 or 5, and then you had Netscape, and then Mozilla came out with their stuff, and then of course you had Opera. Yeah, it was just hated that. So at least now you can write something that works on most browsers most of the time. Yeah, front page was just god awful code, but yeah, you're right. It looked good to the end user, but if you had to dig into it, it was a nightmare. And WordPress. Yeah, WordPress is, I think WordPress is great, but yeah, they really, every time they say, we've finally fixed all the bugs or all the security bugs, okay, they don't actually say that, but every time a new bug fix comes out and people are like, see, it's all good now. And it's like, yeah, there's going to be another one coming around. Yeah. So WordPress is good, but it does obviously come with that cost. I suppose that, yeah, most people it doesn't really matter. Most people don't get hit. A lot of it seems to come in through the plugins, I think, for WordPress. So, all right, it's my voice has given up. Would you believe it is actually 6:45 here, and it's still quite bright outside? And they have people who want to have daylight savings up here. I mean, that's just insane. It's like, there's so much daylight already. I could go out there for another half hour and run around, play cricket or whatever. I don't need daylight savings. It'd be 9 o'clock before the sun goes down. So, anyway. But yeah, I think they should just drop daylight savings outright everywhere. And if you want to have winter hours and summer hours, that would make more sense than shifting clocks around all the time. But we'll save that for another debate. In the meantime, you'll take care, and I'll catch us all later.